Good morning.
I didn't even move my mic over here yet.
Welcome to another episode of the Love Brew. What is this? Episode 10?
Yeah, you just told me because I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Um, yeah. So we here. Love Brew. First one of the year. Happy New Year. By the way.
It is the first one of the year.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, we were here last week, but that was last year.
Yeah, that was last year.
It was all good just a week ago.
It was all good just a week ago. It was.
I posted
It was all good just a week ago.
I reposted on Facebook on like the second. I haven't purchased anything from Amazon all year. And I was like, wait, I did buy something with a gift card, but in girl math, that doesn't count. Because, I used the gift card. So I didn't technically purchase it out of my funds. We always think of gift cards as not our money.
Speak for yourself.
No, no, no. I mean, like it's not coming out of my income.
No, you speak for yourself.
You think
'Cause
of it as coming out of your income?
yes.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely coming out of my bottom line.
I'd be like, oh shoot, $25. Okay.
No, not me.
Charge it to the game because I'm still got the same amount of money I made on my paycheck in my bank account.
No, that's just like it's extra for me, but it's counted as bottom line. This is what I got.
Even when we get our gift cards from my job, our incentivized gift cards, I'd be like, all right, well, I got some free money from Amazon.
That's too funny. Free money.
Free money from Amazon.
Money
Let's
don't
go
grow on
use it.
trees.
I worked for it. It's just my incentive.
All right.
Anywho, where you want to get started
It
at?
don't matter,
Because you're
man.
scrolling all not in the notes that I
No,
gave you.
not at all.
Do
I'm just
better.
kind of like everywhere right now.
So we'll start out with Tommy and I put up a microwave.
We sure did.
So in our house, there was a vent hood over our stove, and we found out. Good morning, Miss Tillman.
Good morning.
Happy you were able to get up with us. I wouldn't be awake if we weren't doing this, so I feel you. um, so our house had a vent hood over the stove. Tommy and I both agree that when we moved into that, or when we purchased the house, we thought the vent hood was working. He had an electrician come put in a
My
plug
guy.
for it.
My guy.
You don't even know his name.
Porter.
You had to look it up.
I have not looked it up. He's always been my guy.
um, Tommy had his electrician come and install a plug so that we could plug up the vent hood or the over the range
Yeah.
microwave.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just trying to. Our house doesn't have enough storage.
So me and Artika grew up ghetto fabulous.
What do you mean?
Like we had all the things that a house. We both grew up in houses, and we never had microwaves over the range.
Nope, because my mama still has a vent hood right now.
Yeah.
To this day, it's a
What
new
else?
vent hood.
We this is the first place we live with a garage.
Mm-hmm. My mom's house should have a garage.
Yeah.
But the homeowner before her converted it to a den.
What else? Like first home.
Mm-hmm.
We're making this house a home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It was someone's rental property before it was our home.
Yeah.
So with it being someone's rental property,
Good
Um,
morning, Linda.
Good morning, Linda. They definitely did not do the upgrades in the house
Yeah,
that a homeowner would do if they were actively living in the home.
right, right.
So I forgot where I was at. Oh, so Tammy and I thought the vent hood worked. We just thought that it wasn't suctioning well. It was loud too.
Yeah,
And so it had to have worked because we both have this very distinct memory of it being loud.
it probably worked at one point.
Right. So the electrician comes in, installs a plug. He tells us that the thing wasn't working because it was never hardwired in to begin
It
with.
wasn't connected correctly. That's what it was.
Whatever.
But when he came in, he disconnected it completely.
Took us 3 hours to take down the vent hood that was existing and then to put up the microwave.
Yeah.
Now, why did it take 3 hours, you guys ask? We couldn't find the stud finder. Tommy lost a drill bit. Both kids got up out of their beds in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And my brain stopped working.
Yeah.
Tommy asked me to read something. I read it. And then I was like, I don't know what this means.
It had pictures too. Oh, that pissed me off, man. Like, bro, what's going on, man? That you like? What did like? I didn't understand. Like, I was already mad because I couldn't find my stuff,
Mhm.
and then here it is. I asked you to read something. You're like, I don't get it, bruh.
It didn't make sense to me. So,
It's
needless to say, we didn't finish putting this over the range oven up until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
Tommy gets up to go to work at 4.
yeah,
He don't leave the house at 4, but he gets up at 4.
yeah. So, needless to say, I was sleepy that whole day, and then I started. I would. That's the day that I started feeling bad.
Probably because you were tired. Your body is just giving out. It was
Yeah,
like fighting, fighting, fighting.
yeah.
Good punch.
Then so it's beautiful now. We recorded the video of it, so it may or may not come out.
Yeah, I don't know what the angles look like.
Yeah. All you probably just see back in dreads.
And me and him doing
Scratch
measure,
look scratching the
measure.
head, looking for something.
But
Something like that, man. It looks nice though.
got it installed. Felt like a real adult. That's what I texted my sister. I was
Oh, yeah.
like, I'm an adult today. I helped install a microwave.
Yeah. That's funny.
Anywho, what else you got?
That's all I got, man.
I'm saying off the list.
Oh,
Where
you
you want
don't
to
you
go
got the
next?
list pulled up?
Nope. Where you want to go next?
I don't know. This past weekend, or not this past weekend, but last weekend. I guess that is
That
this
is this
past.
past weekend.
We saw some football games. Well, I did.
Yeah, I didn't watch
Alabama
any of
got
them.
beat by Michigan
I saw that game.
by the dumbest play. Like I was like, how do y'all like why call that? Right? They was on a 3 yard line, called a quarterback sneak. Not even necessarily a sneak, a quarterback draw to score a touchdown in overtime. And they needed to score. And needless to say, they didn't get to the line of scrimmage. Alabama lost. I was shocked. Michigan
Mm-hmm.
is going to the national championship. Now, I didn't watch the Washington and Texas game, but Washington actually beat Texas. I'm interested to see their game today. Not today, but this I think it's Monday. I'm interested to see who's gonna win out of that because number one versus number two.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in the top four all year, so we're gonna see what they're talking about. Finally, Michigan makes it to the championship, and Michael Penix makes it through the season
And you said they're opening up the playoffs next year to 8.
to 8, which they need to because there's no way Georgia beat FSU by 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because Georgia lost, and I get it, Georgia lost to Alabama, which Alabama has the chance to win the go to the national championship. But I mean, Georgia been number one for 2 years. That has to stand for something, you know.
Mm.
uh the way that they do their calculations and stuff. So I'm interested to see next year's playoffs and how these teams are like truly represented and everything like that. So that's gonna be interesting to me.
This coffee is really good. I
It
just want to
is.
go on record saying that. I bought the Twix by I think Dunkin' coffee. I think I'm gonna go buy that big multi pack box. That's
It's like, man, I messed with this.
it's Twix and Snickers
Yeah.
that Sam's Club has.
Oh,
I
okay.
just been thinking, where am I gonna put all these K cups?
I don't
Because
know.
our K cup holder
Hmm.
doesn't hold as many K cups as what comes in that
Right,
box.
right.
I'm gonna just have a little cabinet of just K
That's
cups.
hilarious, man. Yeah. What we got? Judge gets jumped. That was interesting to see. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it was a guy.
I put the link in the
That's what
chat
I'm
that I
trying to
was
click
looking at.
on. It was a guy. Excuse me. It was a guy in Las Vegas who was trying to. I gotta have an account for this.
I didn't.
You on the computer? Read that.
Um, um, Deobra Redden, who is 30, jumped over a courtroom bench onto Judge Mary K. Holthus as he was about to be sentenced. And then the bailiff, what did what you call say? He put the paws on him.
Man,
Who said that? Scrappy.
yeah,
He was denied probation and he was about to be sentenced. And that's when he decided to come across. He was pleading guilty to attempted battery with substantial bodily harm. And I think that this proved that,
yeah,
fully capable of it.
yeah. This didn't definitely didn't help his case.
The judge was injured and her condition is being monitored. And there was a court martial that was injured and was taken to the hospital. They said he is also believed to be in stable condition. I know that the um the bailiffs and the securities of the court
Yeah,
don't want to have to do their job
yeah,
because most
yeah,
of the time when we go to court, and I'm not talking about criminal court but just court in general, because there's other reasons to have to go to court
yeah.
other than being a
Of
criminal.
course.
um when you go to court, you're not expecting a fight to break out,
Last thing you're expecting.
especially not a fight between a judge and somebody.
Well, I don't think that was a fight between the judge and somebody. I think that was the defendant uh just beating on the judge.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
Yeah.
don't ever expect the judge to be involved. Like, you could see, good morning,
Good
Irene.
morning.
You could see like somebody getting criminal court.
Right.
I'm prosecuting you. You say something that was a lie, I come across the table.
Man,
Right?
my boy, it like the thing that I was watching the video. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first time I heard about it, right?
I
My
saw it on
boy,
my Instagram
my
feed.
boy they I mean, didn't struggle with leaping over the judge's bench. And usually that thing up high.
It is.
And I was like,
You
dog,
remember when we almost got married in the courthouse? The
no.
historic courthouse?
Oh yeah.
I was like, so can we do something about these pictures of these white people on the wall? And she was like, no, they stay. And I was like, oh.
Like, man, they just I feel judged.
No. I was like, can we drape it or
That's
something?
funny,
She was
man.
like, some people do draping to cover up everything. I was like, I don't mind the judge's seating
Yeah,
being there because
a
it's a
courthouse.
historic courthouse,
Yeah,
right? But I was just like, no, I don't like
that's
this.
funny, man. We but no, just seeing the whole thing, like thinking about the whole thing coming out. He had to go around where he was standing in a hurry, jump like there's a barrier somewhere,
Mm.
jump that barrier, and then jump over the judge's desk before anybody realized what he was doing.
And still had enough anger in your heart
To put, he threw he tackled the judge
to punch a couple of people.
and punched a couple people. But man, when they got up there, You see one dude punching like he like never threw a punch ever in his life. He's sitting up there, man. But you seen another one
Good
come
morning,
in.
Elisa.
Good morning. You seen another one come in. He was throwing them haymakers.
I just, you know how there's certain jobs that you don't want to do. We've actually talked about one on here. The guy that was like in the hamster wheel
Yeah,
in the ocean.
yeah.
I don't want to have to tell you to get out of this.
Right,
I don't want to have to fight you in court
right,
because you trying to attack the
right.
judge. I
That's
don't
crazy.
want to do that.
You want the waffle? Okay.
I don't want to do that at all. So we you just are looking at the situation. You wave and tell everybody hi. Wave. Okay. All right. Go get your waffle. Go get your waffle. Um, I don't know. It's just that's a job that I did not. If I had that job, I wouldn't think that I'm gonna have to go to work today. Yeah, Tommy said you don't wake up in the morning thinking, "Man, I gotta fight somebody today," because they're gonna attack the judge. Like now in the courtroom, everything's gonna have you on defense. Um,
Oh, he heard his case.
but now he's still gonna be sentenced.
And it's gonna be longer.
No, now I'm gonna say now he's gonna have to go back to court for a new charge.
Yeah.
And of course, that's going to be even worse because you tried to attack the judge. So the next judge is going to automatically side with this judge just because we both are judges. He said you hit a federal employee. You hit an officer of the law.
That's it. That's what a person that knows has studied the law
Mm-hmm.
and basically messing with your freedom.
Yeah.
Hit them.
Um. Yeah. It just
It don't make sense.
it does not make sense. But of course he's in custody because he was always in custody, and we'll see where everything goes from that. I probably won't remember to keep up with it. Good morning. You tell free good morning. No? Okay. He was initially charged with attempted battery with substantial bodily harm, and I'm pretty sure that was to. Did you say it was to a girlfriend? Oh, he didn't say. Not sure exactly who that case was against, but then he decided that he was going to attack the judge. So, um,
Like I wonder what his end goal was, you know?
Tommy says he wondered what his end goal was. I can't imagine an end goal other than I'm just angry. And a lot of people don't think through the end goal when they're angry.
I'm mad. I'm gonna hit this chick.
For example, think about the girl that was going to fight me over my couch because her son was sleeping on my couch and I was moving out. She wanted to fight me. Makes zero sense because you wanting to fight me because the child is sleeping on my couch and I am moving out still doesn't give your child anywhere to sleep.
Nah, it wasn't a child that was sleeping on your couch. It was your roommate.
Doesn't matter. Person was sleeping on my couch. He said it wasn't the child, it was my actual roommate. Um Again, doesn't really matter. People don't think things through. And I get it because that's why they have crimes of what is it called? Crimes of passion. You're just angry and you're like, all right, I got to get through this.
Yeah.
Anywho, we talked about that. We talked about that. Last thing before we get to Mr. 5'4" is Trump.
Yeah.
So Maine and Colorado have both ruled that Trump can't be on the ballots. And now the Supreme Court is about to make a ruling based off of Colorado, I believe. Um, to keep him off of all 2024 ballots in all the states.
Um. So okay, I've been following that just a little bit, not a lot,
Mhm.
because it's crazy to think about the lesser of two evils, right?
Mhm.
But they keep him off the ballot. Then we have. I always wonder why aren't the people that's actually running that's for second place
Mhm.
in the Republican thing, why aren't they saying, like, bringing this stuff up?
Mhm.
Hey, this man has been charged 94 times. He's on trial for this, for that. But it's so in case he doesn't win because of technicalities, so they would get his votes.
Mhm.
Smart.
Mhm.
I don't know if this, like, Colorado wants to remove their thing.
But is there anyone on the Republican side that we think would get Trump's votes? Or would it be a case of people saying, I can't vote for Trump, I'm not voting for anybody? Because that's largely what happens on the other
Well,
side.
regardless of what they decide, it's a sense of either we lose all those votes and then the person for second place is running,
Mhm.
or his votes then becomes one of their votes, or it's split between all them. So it's a matter of moving him out the way
Mhm.
and not offending his base. So if his base comes and has to vote for somebody else, they would be more likely to vote for one of them.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens because that's interesting because that has never happened before.
Mm-mm.
Nobody, I not in like, and I don't study like politics like that. But I have never heard of anybody saying, "Nah, you can't run."
Mhm. Um, I'm sure
He's like the
this
bad.
fall, political science classes in college
Oh man,
are going to be an amazing place to be.
oh man,
Um, at least I think the same that a lot of those voters will stay home.
yeah. I mean, uh, it makes sense that would happen
Mhm.
because it's like then you have to choose. Okay, well, what do I like? You truly have to think. What do
Mhm.
I like and what I don't like about this person who we have to choose, have to vote for?
Mhm.
The easiest time for me to vote was the first time Barack Obama ran.
Mhm.
Very is what I call him, 'cause, we personal. We
Here you go.
Oh, Barry. That was easy for me because I knew what I wanted to.
Mhm. And that was also the first time that we were eligible to vote
Right.
because we missed the previous election by a few months.
Yeah.
You less months than me because
Yeah. Hey, yeah, right.
like literally they voted in November. We turned 18
In
February
February
and April.
and April.
So um and that was an interesting one to watch being in political science
Yeah.
classes because it's something
Good
it's
morning,
one of those
Hubert.
things I love when you can actually like experience what you're learning in real time and make it apply.
Man,
Like it makes it make sense so much more.
that didn't work real real good for me when I was in tax class and it was tax season.
Because you didn't do the taxes.
Okay. All right. Let's
um,
go.
you didn't do the
All right.
taxes. That's
No
why it didn't work
terms.
for you with the tax
All
class.
right.
And were you doing personal taxes in the tax
Yeah.
class? Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like there's no like I literally was able to. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do this right here, and it just didn't work out well.
They need a, you know how they have married to medicine? They need
Yeah.
a reality show for people married to accountants.
It'd be bored. It'd be bored.
Now it'd be a lot of what?
Yeah.
What are you talking
Nah,
about?
Look, I frowned at the computer so much, like the computer did something to me. It was like mother.
Nah, it doesn't make sense.
I'm curious to see. It's interesting one because we're in the historic time.
It's always historic time.
No, 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 no. Like we like literally like COVID happening, Trump becoming president, and like his rhetoric. And
Mhm.
we've never heard of this stuff, and nobody else could do stuff like that. The January 16th, the last time somebody marched on the Capitol like that,
Mhm.
or like invaded the Capitol, it was the Civil War. Like we've never like these are historic times because of that. And it's like we want to remember things like this because when they grow up, they start learning about these things and talking about it. We lived it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, kind of like we sit down and we can talk to my mom about the riots when Dr. King died
Yeah,
because she lived it. Granted, she wasn't an adult during that time, but she has very vivid memories of
right.
watching things on TV, actually watching things because of my granddad's rooming house too.
Yeah. It was right
Um,
there on the Bill Street.
it was on, I think it was on Bill and Main,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, man,
but
just
they said they could see it from standing
yeah,
out
yeah.
from the rooming house.
Man, it's like, man, just being able to see what's going on, being able to have a firsthand experience on the history of things, and being able to form an opinion about what's going on, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times our opinions get us in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that should like if it's not law, I don't think it should get us in trouble in any shape or form, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's okay for us to have like form an opinion about what we see, what's going on around us, and how our experience with life is,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all it is, you know. And us seeing this with the Supreme Court and stuff, and understanding like the Supreme Court is highest court of the land. They really make the rules, and then understanding, oh, he put his boys in there, so how are they gonna judge, you know,
Mm-hmm.
his boys and girl in there? How are they gonna judge him? Because now it's I did you a solid.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna repay me type of thing? You can think of it that way, or you know how this thing gonna pan out because it's at the Supreme Court, right? Like
I
currently,
believe so.
it's not the state Supreme Court. It's the
Yeah, the U.S.
yeah. So I'm interested to see how that pans out because it's
I'm
like
interested to see what other states also just jump in because Maine and Colorado
yeah.
were like, get it done.
And you know what else is crazy? This is the front runner
Mm-hmm.
for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the Republican side. So it's like
Yeah, I'm actually
that's a big hit.
I just pulled up the candidates because I was like, who all is running? I remember I knew DeSantis was running
Yeah,
and Chris Christie,
yeah.
but I didn't know anybody else. And
You got DeSantis and Nikki Haley
yeah.
are fighting for second place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a dude named Vivek
Mm-hmm.
that's in there, and Chris Christie is in
Vivek
there.
describes himself as anti woke.
Yeah,
What does
I
that
don't know,
mean?
man. People just be saying stuff that sounds sounds like this is hip.
I mean, and he's young. He's 39.
Yeah,
So
you remember when
I'm like, who you
39 was
been?
old?
I do remember when 39 was old. But for the presidency, it's always been young.
Yeah,
Because you only have to be 35
because
to become president.
because our president's average age is at this point 60 or
Be like
70 plus.
99. It's what it feel like.
Man, I just be like, man, we need to get some youth in the political realm
Hmm. We
and
have never
stuff.
had a hardcore criminal running for president before. That's true.
Yeah, we've also never had anybody win president that said somebody should get the death penalty. That bothers me so bad. Do you remember the Central Park Five?
Uh-huh.
And the Central Park
Oh yeah,
Five,
because he took out ads
he
about
took
that.
out a newspaper ad and said these kids should get the death penalty. These guys went to jail.
And they didn't even do it.
Wasn't nowhere like didn't have nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he took out an ad for them to get the death penalty. When it came out that they didn't have anything to do, he wouldn't even apologize. Like we have to understand our influence. That's what I don't know. She must be pooping or something. I don't know. We have to understand our influence as people
Mm-hmm.
because somebody said on Club Shay Shay, he had his cigar like Ocho Cinco cigars.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about them. Then he told Ocho like, "Hey man, we sold out on the website crash and stuff like that. Power of influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that is. And it's like even back then, that's what we had. The power of influence, man. That's some scary stuff for
Trump is innocent until proven guilty by a jury of his peers.
but who's considered his peers?
The people that are going to end up there.
Like his peers all went to jail, man. There's no way.
No, there's still quite a few people that didn't have the influence that he has
Yeah,
that are still considered his peers.
yeah. That's crazy, right?
And that's the thing. Like, we were talking about jury duty
Yeah,
it's probably been a minute ago that we talked about it. But I was like, black people don't want to go to jury duty. But I'm like, that's how we become the jury of their peers is by
right,
showing up.
right, right.
Like I
Now,
was upset the one time that I got excused for jury duty because literally I was supposed to go the week
yeah, that we had the baby.
that we had Lily.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, y'all, I'm 9 months pregnant. When I got to notice, I think I was like seven
Yeah.
7 months pregnant. I was like, I am very, very pregnant.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want them problems.
Right, because that water break, I'm coming. We got to get her to the hospital, man.
I would have been closer to the hospital than home.
Yeah.
But still, like, y'all don't want them problems.
Nothing. Go watch. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Anywho.
I'm curious to see what happens with this whole thing, and
I'm gonna look into these
I'm going to
candidates
make
that
a
are
mental note of what's going on.
I'm looking to these candidates because, like I said, I didn't have a vantage point beyond DeSantis and Christie.
So a few weeks ago, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, they asked Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley is somebody that I actually was like, man, she would be a real contender
Mm-hmm.
for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked her about the Civil War. I don't forgot what her thing was, but the big thing was that she didn't say it was about demolishing slavery, or that
Mm-hmm.
basically it's a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't say that, and like it was a big brouhaha about that. And I was like, man, that's the first thing I would say.
Yeah, but that's the vantage point
But
that you're
then
looking for.
you got to look from her state, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. What's next, man? Let's get into it. I'm tired of
Go ahead, Kat.
talking about Cat Williams. All right, so I don't know if you guys have not heard or
Everybody's
seen
heard.
seen the interview, but Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay, Unk, as I call him,
I want to know why he calls it Club Shay Shay.
because he basically, that's the name. Is like, why do you call anything anything? Uh, nah, go watch that. Go watch that.
Put your chair right there.
Mommy said, put your chair right here. Put your yellow chair. But anyway, Club Shay Shay, he went on and did an interview with Shannon Sharp on this podcast, and the interview was 2 hours and 45 minutes. There was some truth telling. There was some, I believe, that Cat Williams stretched the truth a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, but overall, we got an authentic Cat Williams.
Now, I'm gonna start off by saying there's one thing that Kat and I have in common. Cat Williams and I have both been 5'4" since we were 11. I never grew anymore.
And apparently, he didn't either. Apparently, the first lie that I heard from Cat Williams, that it had to be a lie. And Shannon Sharp sat there. He tried to correct him, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna let him have it." So at 12,
Mm-hmm.
Cat Williams said he in the 40 he ran a 4.3. Now Deion Sanders in his 20s ran a 4.2, and we know how fast Deion was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because someone has clocked Dion, so
right,
there's proof.
so that like to express, I did not get it. He was expressing that he was a fast little guy,
Mm-hmm.
But when you start talking about 40 times to a football player, they take that kind of serious, and they're like, "No, you didn't. You couldn't have."
Couldn't be.
Because like if you did, you'd have been a different type of person. You wouldn't have been a comedian. You'd have been an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Because a 4.2 at 12 means that you're going to run a 3.9 at 20.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever seen a 12-year-old run. Much
When
slower.
I was 12.
Yeah, they're much slower than a 20-year-old.
Mhm.
Much slower. Everything like that. What are you doing?
Apparently, I'm gonna have to watch 12-year-olds run because you want to put these kids in track. So when my kids are 12,
Man,
I see 12-year-olds
like
run too.
to think that it had 20 something million people watch it
Mhm.
day one. I
Yeah,
think it was like,
I looked at it yesterday at around the 24-hour mark, and I think it was at like 16 million. But YouTube is also always behind
yeah,
in the
yeah.
views that
It's
it
like a
shows
day
us the
behind.
well, no, in the views that it shows us the general public
Yeah,
versus what the actual numbers are. Because
yeah.
even when we pull up the YouTube studio, the numbers are very different.
Right. But it's like, man, just to imagine that that many people have seen what you said,
Hmm.
and it has erupted the internet,
Hmm.
because that's basically all we're talking about. He talked about Ricky Smiley. He talked about Cedric the Entertainer. He talked about Steve Harvey.
He called Cedric the Entertainer a walrus.
A lot of people were taking shots.
And
That
he called Faison a fat Faison lie. We randomly ran into Faison at Home Depot, and I don't know where you were to miss it.
really,
Yeah, you were there, but I don't know where you were in the store.
yeah.
I told Lily, I was like, he's in movies, and she was like, okay.
I don't care about no movies.
Like trying to explain it to her about people that she's like seen or met,
Yeah.
she just be like,
All right,
all right, whatever.
whatever, dude. How you want to talk about this interview, man?
I just wrote down
What was your
funny things that he said.
what was your initial thought?
Um, Cat Williams is crazy. And I don't mean crazy like you might need to go be seen by a professional.
Yeah,
I mean like he exaggerated some truths. Also, he he was definitely throwing shots at me because I was like, Earthquake ain't had nothing to do with this.
he
When he
said.
said he was illiterate.
Why you think he ain't been a movie star? He can't read. God, dog, he didn't do anything to you.
And I'm like, I don't know if Earthquake can read or not. I know who can't read.
Who's that?
Oh, dang, who is it?
Floyd Mayweather, one of
Yep, that's who I was thinking
them.
of.
Was it?
I'm gonna say the Breakfast Club ad.
That was Webby.
Weeby.
Weeby. Weeby is different from Webby. Spelled the same, I believe.
Yeah.
um, my initial thought was, I was like, man, this dude's a hater.
Okay.
But then I was like, it's some validity in what he's saying. Like a lot of the secret stuff, I don't have anything to, I can't say anything about it.
Hmm. I will say, um, there's been several people, Boosie being one, Lunell being one, Gary Owen being one,
mhm.
who have had nothing but great things to say about Cat
Yeah,
Williams, right? Um, Cat took me out. Boosie said Boosie didn't have anything.
yeah,
And Cat Williams had $15,000 wrapped up in a towel and just threw it in his passenger seat of his car
yeah,
and left. He was like, I thought he was giving me some weed. Like there's a lot of people that have these types of stories
yeah,
about Cat
yeah,
Williams. But then there's also people that are like, Cat Williams is crazy. What did Kevin Hart say? You got too much anger on your heart or something like that.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Like it's the Kevin, like, you know how I feel about Kevin Hart, man. That's one of the guys that I think is, good morning, Doug.
Good
That's one of the
morning.
guys that I think are, he has an amazing work ethic. I think like he makes some dumb choices,
Mm-hmm.
but his work ethic is amazing to me. And that's the thing when he
Because
called
he
him.
was an industry plant.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say when he called him a plant, I'm like, man, I don't get that part. I
I'll be honest with you. I listened to Kevin Hart's book, right?
yeah,
Um, and listening to the book, um, I can understand where Cat would say he's a plant because there was like there was like a chunk missing from the East Coast grind to I got a TV show.
yeah,
it just it
Well,
didn't
that's
connect.
that's the thing for me. It's more so of who you know and not what you know
Yeah.
type of thing to me, right? Because I've seen that in action
No. I
firsthand. Not
completely agree
from
with you.
a standpoint of this is like from what they see, but I've seen it work in my favor and against me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the thing that for me, I was like, man, he seems like a hater. When I can't think of his stand up, but it was the one he did Friday after next, and then he played a pimp, and then he came out with the stand up. He was a pimp.
Pimp
Funniest,
Chronicles.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But it was hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, here's Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
That was the very next thing. But he was like, Kevin Hart came out with these things, stand ups, and then he got popular. But Cat Williams started getting in trouble. Like all you hear from Cat Williams is trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Logically, I don't want a troublemaker on my payroll.
All right.
So that's the thing that I'm like, I don't get the plant thing because it's like if you're in jail for something, or you're seeming to be a troublemaker
Yeah.
for anything, I don't want to have anything to do with you because
Agreed.
you could cause me more trouble than it's worth. I need somebody in this place right here to be funny. And then you look at Kevin's trajectory. Like people say, Kevin played the same role in 18 different movies,
He does.
and,
Like,
and but it warranted him getting paid in popularity. Gives him a platform. Gives him I can go say stand up, and the stand up started not being funny. Like his last two or three wasn't funny.
who's?
Kevin Hart's. It was funny. It had funny moments, but it wasn't as funny as the first three.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seriously funny was like top of the line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the Green case or something like that, right?
Can't
Anyway,
remember. I can visualize it, but I can't tell you what the title was.
oh, okay, y'all talking about the platform.
I heard Shannon made $500,000 on this interview. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Shannon will be able to take this interview and leverage it into
Oh,
whatever
Shannon's
he
finna
wants to do next.
just pay attention to the upgrades that happen with Shannon Sharp.
Now, what I
Uh,
want Shannon Sharp to do, because
Media
I
stuff.
watched other interviews of his. Shannon is no journalist, right?
Yeah, no.
I want him to take some type of training to be able to ask better follow-up questions or
Yeah,
actual follow-up questions,
yeah.
because I feel like this interview could have been 10 times better. Like, Cat Williams came in with the chopper.
Cat Williams started off like out the gate.
Like, he
We
came
rolling.
out
All right, go.
he came out blazing. But I think that there was a lot of things that should have had follow-up questions
Yeah,
asked.
yeah. Let me ask you this: is it a bad thing to be a plant? Like if I say, "Hey, I want you right here because this is gonna warrant you X, Y, and Z," and I guess the bad part would be what's on the flip. What do I have to do for you? And for me, being Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
not in that position,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what he did. As long as he ain't do nothing illegal or nothing to harm my family members.
I mean, there is
But like I said, he still has to perform.
you
Still has to be good.
you do still have to perform, you do still have to be good. But there's also like people can be planted into places, right? And they continuously make the news cycle. Like, I'm not even just talking about being a Hollywood plant, but like, first off, there's no reason that I should know who Krishan Rock and Blueface are, right?
Yeah,
Because they are planted in my Instagram feed.
yeah.
I don't even know what they do, but I keep seeing them.
They beat up on each other.
Why is that news?
It's not news to me.
But you see what I mean? Like, but what do they do? Like, I
Yeah.
can't tell you what
Blueface
they
is a
do.
rapper.
Can't give you a song. But it's like you put this here and it becomes a thing and it grows legs and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're like, why is this here? This
Yeah,
doesn't make any
yeah,
sense. It's just a part of the cycle, and somebody who is more powerful is able to make this
yeah.
stay in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Being a Hollywood plant, you just placed him there. And if you keep giving opportunities, it's going to keep pushing him out there
Yeah.
because he could get like a 5 movie run, right? Because it's a deal with the studio or whatever.
Yeah.
But with you having this person in there, it's like other people could have done this role
And see, that's a
off of their own
and
merit,
see that's the thing.
allegedly.
That's the thing that like I'm gonna speak on what J Dub was saying. That's the thing why I said Cat seemed to be a hater
Mm-hmm.
is because okay, if he's a plant and he did whatever he had to do to, as they say, the SD,
Mm-hmm.
SAD, like use your imagination. What I'm saying, as he was saying that that's what they did to get to where they going.
Perform fellatio.
Yeah. Um. If that's the case, that's the case. That's what they did to get there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not willing to do that. Figure out another way to get there. Figure out another way to because you're living
I'm
comfortably.
only laughing because I'm thinking about Dwight Howard, who was like, "It don't matter where I put my wood."
Yeah, man, this nigga here, man.
That's the only reason I laughed.
But it's kind of when you hear him talk about Kevin Hart, we all know the history between them. It's always been a feud. Like he seemed to not like Kevin Hart for whatever
It's the
reason.
little guys.
Yeah. And it's hard not to like be like, dang dog, why? Because Kevin Hart is like he changed the game.
Thank you, J Dub.
What do you
And
say?
good morning, High Vibe. He said I'm killing it this morning. Um, High Vibe, I agree. People who tell the truth do get labeled as haters. It's one of those
Prime
things, like
example.
it's one of those things that like there's a fine line. The biggest example that I can think of, especially with black people, is you don't speak ill of the dead.
But
If
if
this
they was
person
a
was a
messed up person,
butthole,
they're a messed up
am
person.
I really speaking ill of them or am I telling the truth?
But the crazy part, like I said, he sounds like a hater. Never said he was lying, but he does sound like a hater. Because I mean, like, how do you hate on somebody? How do you don't? You're this is me hating. This is my form of hating. Somebody that has wronged me, I wish you well, but I don't wish you better than me. You know what I'm saying? And if you do better than me, I'm mad, hating, right?
That is hating.
That's hating. That's a prime example of hating.
Mm-hmm.
I pictured that's what Kevin Hart and Cat Williams are. And to hear his truth, it's to me, that's what it sounds like to me, is
Mm-hmm.
that he's hating on him because he's doing quote unquote better than
Mm-hmm.
him in this situation. But it's like, what do you do? What do you say? What do you like talking about it and trying to cast him in a negative way does not help your case. This is just one person. We ain't even got to the other ones that he has a
And he
better
didn't.
case with.
And he didn't really go in on Kevin Hart.
He didn't.
He said what he wanted to say. He's a plant, and he moved on.
Yeah.
Now, he kept circling back to Ricky Smiley.
Oh, he murdered
And
Ricky.
then Ice Cube came out with a video.
I didn't hear his response. I heard Ricky's though.
First off, Ice Cube's voice in that video bothered me. I
Did it?
was like, why you talking like that? But Ice Cube essentially was saying that he has a ton of comedians come out when he's filming these movies,
Yeah.
right? Or when he's casting these movies.
Yeah.
And he was like, he has a script and then he lets them do takes of their own. That's how Cat was able to write so much
Yeah.
of the Money Mike lines.
Yeah.
Because he has, these are the points that we need to make based on my script.
Yeah.
If you can make this funnier than what I wrote,
Yeah.
go for
Go
it.
for it.
And we're going to use the best take or the funniest take out of everything. Now, he did not agree or disagree about Ricky Smiley reading for Money Mike. But he said that when he saw Cat,
Yeah.
Cat was Money Mike.
Cat was a better like. Imagine Ricky Smiley playing Money Mike.
I'm gonna
That
be
doesn't happen.
completely honest. When they was like Ricky Smiley was in Friday After Next, I was like, he was.
Yeah, he was the
I had to
Santa.
literally think about it and be like, oh yeah, he was in it. He was in. Okay, okay. I forgot,
Yeah,
but I don't ever forget that Cat Williams was Money Mike.
yeah. And then okay, I'm gonna answer high five. I'm a fan of Kevin Hart more than I'm a fan of Cat Williams,
Hmm.
and so that's where,
I've seen Kevin Hart live more than I've seen Cat
yeah,
Williams.
me too.
You've only seen one of them, and you've
Right,
only
right.
seen them one time.
That changed the fact. But and that's where my vantage point, right? We talk about vantage points. That's my vantage point of the conversation.
Hmm.
There's no reason for me to change it. There's no reason for me to be like, well, X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
My vantage point is this is what Kevin Hart did. This is what Cat Williams did. I'm a fan of Kevin Hart.
Hmm.
So but back to Ricky Smiley. Ricky, like, I felt like he went in on Ricky Smiley because Ricky was like, what did he say? Like, what did Ricky Smiley say about Cat Williams? That
All I remember him saying was that he was supposed to be Money Mike. I didn't watch Ricky Smiley's
yeah,
interview.
I didn't
Let's
either.
just go on record saying it. I did start Cedric the Entertainer's interview.
Man, when he said that about about that they could only play a woman, and he put it in his contract, I was like, "Geez, man, what's up?" No, pull your chair up. Pull your chair up. Pull your chair up, man.
Um Tyler
Here, get the yellow chair. Put it right here.
has not played a memorable man in a film. Just let her sit in your
I don't want to.
lap. Tyler's never played a memorable man in a movie. Like
Ricky hadn't either.
I'm being
because
completely honest. Like I can't really remember
because the
that
only
many
one,
things that Ricky Smiley was in. Not to say that he doesn't. Let me look him up.
yeah, like it's nothing to take away from Ricky Smiley because I think Ricky Smiley is a great comedian. I think Ricky Smiley is a great person.
Mhm,
I don't personally know him, so it's my vantage point is of the things that he's done. I'm not a person that listens to Ricky Smiley a lot, and for Cat to go like he was offended
mhm,
by the idea that he was by the idea that Ricky was like I was originally the Money Mike. I auditioned for that.
mhm.
Um
Kat said that 200 people um
also auditioned for that,
auditioned for that role before him.
but it was his role. Like
Right.
we obviously say, yeah, you can't no, this was you player.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it's funny because it was like this for you to like I don't for you to put in your contract the only time you're gonna work with Ricky again is if he in a dress.
And that was in First Sunday.
That's hilarious. It's almost as if what parts are you being funny, what parts are you being for real? Because how can a person say only way I work this is if this person is in a dress?
Mm.
As to because you look at it as being a negative thing, and that's something that he talked about too in the interview is men wearing dresses to be um, for their roles. Like
Uh-huh.
he was talking about Martin asking him to be in Big Mama's house too.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we know that they were women.
Uh-huh.
Um, but if you're not comfortable doing that, don't do it.
Right. Don't take on those roles.
It's and I think that's okay to do. But if people are comfortable, because we saw Martin as Shanae, we saw Jamie Foxx
Wanda.
as Wanda. I think Flip Wilson. It goes back to Flip Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Pryor did a woman. Eddie Murphy, I think, did a woman before. I'm not sure, but Eddie Murphy's stand up delirious. I think would not like he would have today. he would have been canceled.
There's so many
Have
people
you
that
ever
would have
seen Delirious?
probably not.
You probably need to watch it.
There's so many people that would have been canceled for their comedy
Yeah,
in 2024. Prime example would be Bernie Mac.
yeah,
I think but Bernie Mac is hilarious.
yeah.
But would the jokes that Bernie told in his prime translate to
Man, we
today?
man,
Nah, they wouldn't.
and Bernie Mac. That was one comedian that he was like, I respect,
Hmm.
but he never got to work with him, man. But
I get it.
it is also like, and this the part that I enjoyed the interview, by the way,
Hmm.
because I enjoyed the stories that he told and how he talked about people and brought some form of comedy
He
to it.
was a woman in Nutty Professor.
Who? Eddie
Eddie.
Murphy,
Hmm.
yeah,
There's an article called "Top 10 Movies Where a Male Actor Has Played a Woman."
yeah. I mean, like people, they do it for the comedy aspect of
Sean and Marlon are one person
it.
in
Are they?
White Chicks. Like they're number 7. It says Sean and Marlon.
Right, but it's like it's okay to have limitations on what you're doing. Like you okay? Okay. It's okay to have limitations on what you're doing, but other people are willing to do it.
Hmm. High Vibe said the question is why are black comedians always being casted to play women that's emasculating? It's not just the black comedians. Because this article, there's only Sean and Marlon, Martin Lawrence, and Eddie Murphy listed in a list of 10. Um, I think that because like the first one that comes to mind is Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire,
I
Martin
think
Short. I think I don't like. I'm thinking Martin Short
I
was
don't
another
know.
white
I
guy
don't know who that
that
white
played.
man is.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
don't watch white comics.
that's what I was about to say. I think that the vantage point is that we're black and we consume black media,
Right, right.
and we're not thinking about the white media as the point of reference because when we're thinking about the conversation as Kat is presenting it, we're looking at it from the vantage point of being a person of color.
Yeah,
Um, I would be curious, like a great follow-up question would be, well, how did you feel about Sean and Marlon and White Chicks?
right.
Because Sean and Marlon, it wasn't a script that was presented to them.
They made
They
it.
wrote it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's almost as if it's and I hate to compare it to this because it two totally different things, but it's blackface
Hmm.
to the
In a
genders.
in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense, like blackface. If you look it up, like that was wrong.
Hmm.
But in the sense of the thought processes of you take Tyler Perry's Medea, right? Medea was a person that we all knew about.
Hmm.
Miss Josephine
Hmm.
was the closest thing to a Medea,
Hmm.
like in my life, right?
Hmm.
And you can find those things. If it's funny, if it hits, I'm gonna keep doing it
Yeah.
because I'm already here, type of deal.
She said that goes back to book Breaking on the Plantation. Even when we write, it's for the sake of acceptance. It's one of those things. There
It's a
was a
thin line, right?
yeah, there was a conversation on Kev on Stage's podcast. Well, him and Angel were talking about it about black people not being able to just make a movie.
Yeah,
It's almost like we have to make the black version of
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Like we should be able to just have movies that are just funny.
yeah,
And we don't have to have the trauma of telling a slave story
yeah,
or you need to be the African American version of XYZ.
yeah.
Like we should just be able to make like Hangover.
Right,
Just make a movie.
right, right.
Like that's just it's just a movie. Like nobody calls Hangover the version of something else
Nah,
or compares it to something else. It's just
a
the
movie.
Hangover. It's
The
just a
Hangover.
movie.
The Hangover was funny. 40-year-old virgin.
Right.
The idea of a 40-year-old virgin and the way that Steve Carroll, I think is his name.
Don't start me
I'm
lying. I don't be knowing these
I'm
people
probably
names.
lying, but the idea is like it was funny.
Yeah. Um
I don't think for success black comedians or black men need to dress up as women
Mm-hmm.
to have any type of success.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that that standards, them as comedians should, or them as actors should have a standard and stand by it. You know, but I also don't believe they should be judged by their standard, because all of us have different standards.
Mm-hmm. Um, I don't know. Like I always wonder, did people get riled up? Like we went back to mentioning Robin Williams. Did people get riled up when he was Mrs. Doubtfire?
I don't think so. Like, I don't remember anybody saying anything.
I mean, we were also kids.
That's true.
Um, but I wonder if the conversation was there
Stop.
during that point in time about like this is emasculating. Why he got to play a woman?
Yeah,
Because when you look at the premise of the movie,
but
it's
Mrs. Doubtfire was funny.
right. But I'm saying you look at the premise of the movie, he wasn't playing a woman
I don't
just to
watch that.
play a woman character, right?
Yeah,
This was so he could be closer to his
right,
kids.
right.
He could be
The idea that his
first
kids,
right of refusal.
the idea that his kids didn't recognize that that was him.
Right. I mean, it's a movie.
I would hope that my children would recognize me in any type of, like, just hearing my voice, smelling, or anything.
Yeah. Now, Tyler Perry predominantly plays one woman, and I get why he keeps this reoccurring
Man,
character.
because, man,
He's
that got him
become
out of
very
poverty.
wealthy.
That got him out of poverty.
Yeah, he has become very wealthy off of being Medea. Now, again with Ricky Smiley, most of the time that he's playing Miss Bernice
Yeah.
is in stand-ups because Ricky ain't doing movies like that.
Right, right.
He's not doing TV shows like that. Um, but you know, people have a lot of issues with Tyler Perry's things. One of the issues that I have is that like he recycles the same actors over and over again,
Yeah.
and we just supposed to be like, oh, she the sister now,
But don't you?
she the daughter now.
But is it not one of those things? Oh, they doing this. Like when you see them in something outside of Tyler Perry,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh,
I'm
okay,
happy
cool.
for them,
Yeah, yeah.
genuinely. When they make it out of those roles.
But I think of Tyler Perry being like how the Wayans were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have their group of people that's doing their thing, and then when they break out of something and do something else, they're, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard of bosom buddies. I'm googling it.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Yep.
Oh,
That's what they look like.
nah.
And honestly, just looking at the screenshot from this show, looks like a SNL sketch.
Yeah, it does.
I love seeing people outside of Tyler Perry shows. Their acting is so different. It is. It's very different.
Yeah.
But Tyler,
She said, y'all younger than me.
I mean,
yeah.
36 here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 42 right now
I
because my
don't.
kids are aging me.
I don't. I just.
But I don't know. I never saw that. But like the Tyler Perry thing, you do get excited when these people are in other things. Tyler Perry has figured out a way to hook an audience. Like he got with Medea, he got the black church audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will go out and support anything that he wants to do.
But that's the bottom line, though. I'm here to make money and make you laugh.
Remember when Lily's baby dedication, everybody was at our house?
Yeah.
My aunt had the TV dominated the entire weekend with Tyler Perry because she was like, I had never seen this boo. Medea's Halloween.
She did.
I ain't never seen this. And so she literally ran the gamut
of
Tyler Perry things that were on, I think it was Netflix.
But I want to say that backwards. I want to entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can make some money off of it, I want to do that too.
No, I think I want to make money. And how do I entertain you to make money?
I don't want to do anything just for money.
I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the masses. That's why people get into the fields that they get into. It's not to be broke.
Yeah, right. No, you right.
But
anyway, Cat Williams.
Let me tell you, the funniest thing that Cat Williams said was, "You have an unnatural allegiance to losers. You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is
and
unlike you." And I was like, "Good
hey,
God."
stop, man! That joke was
Okay.
so funny, man.
Um, I watched. I didn't watch the entire thing, but Ryan Davis did a
Oh,
breakdown
did he?
of this, because that's one of his
Yeah,
things he does.
yeah,
Pop culture breaks it down. And Cat Williams saying that, yes, okay, okay. He said that Steve Harvey stole Hanging with Mr. Cooper from Mark Curry, and he compared the differences.
yeah.
And I was like, I never thought about it in those terms.
It's the Steve Harvey show and hanging with Mr. Cooper,
Mark Curry's character, which I can't remember his name in the show.
Mr. Cooper.
I'm saying like first name.
Mark Cooper.
Was it Mark?
I think so.
Maybe. Mr. Cooper was a basketball player
Yeah,
who came back to his old school to be the PE teacher.
yeah,
Mr. Hightower was a musician who came back to his school to be the music teacher.
yeah.
And it just navigated it. And like Ryan described it as living single and friends, but everybody's black.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I could see that, but then you could also argue, what was the other show that we watched with the teacher, black guy,
Mr.
comedian,
Robinson.
Mr. Robinson.
Yeah,
Still the same premise. It just didn't run as many
right,
seasons. I don't
right.
think it ran but 2
Just
seasons.
one.
It was just one
Yeah,
season.
because I liked it.
Yeah, we
Lily,
have a
sit
running
down.
joke that if
Sit
Tommy
down.
likes a show, it's not going
Sit
to
down,
come back. Like, we really got into the Carmichael show, and then Gerard
man.
was like, "It's a no for me." I'm sorry, Rothaniel.
It
um, I'm trying to think of what else he mentioned in that.
Who, Ryan Davis?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Anywho, not really important.
Oh,
Miss Silma said he don't know why liars lie. Nobody knows why liars lie. That was also very profound to think about. Why does the liar lie?
I don't know.
And I don't know exactly who he was calling a liar outside of said.
He said, "I'll punch him in the stomach in that balloon."
He called Faison a liar too. He called him a fat Faison a
Yeah.
liar. But I don't remember what he said Faison was lying about either.
You touch it. It's a mole.
What else did I write in these notes? Because
I don't know.
Cedric sold a joke. Steve Harvey was wearing a wig. I'm like, everybody could look at Steve Harvey and tell that wasn't his hair.
I couldn't.
And then Steve Harvey never went through a balding phase.
Yeah.
It was just hair, bald. All right. He said he called Steve Harvey a liar about his career and being homeless. That's what it was.
Yeah, he said that's his story.
Mm-hmm. And Cat's story also got lost for me because
I thought Cat was lying when he talked about his childhood.
when he went from Ohio to Florida, okay, how do we end up in Oklahoma? And then like him trying to, if I was Shannon Sharp, I would have had more questions.
Yeah.
I'm missing something, Cat. Tell me, explain it.
Yeah.
And then getting from Oklahoma to California, I'm missing something. You gotta explain it. Now moving around the Bay and all that stuff and coming to Hollywood, all of that stuff, like I can get with. Yeah, he ran away to Florida, but how did he get from Florida to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Then he was with the ladies of the night in Oklahoma. Did they take you from Florida to Oklahoma? Why Oklahoma?
I don't know.
That's one. It's one of those things where I had more questions.
But him being fast as a 12-year-old, him reading 3,000 books in a year or something like that. He said, I was like,
So okay, 3,000 books a year.
That's a lot for me.
As I put it to you, we read 365 books a year because we read a bedtime story every night.
Yeah.
I don't really
I do
have
see
the
it.
stories
I do see it.
about what type of books. He said they were hard books. I don't know what that means.
Chapter books out too.
I don't know. I don't know. But if you wanted to say I was reading 3,000 books a year, I could do that if they was all little Sesame Street stories.
Yeah,
But I don't, again,
yeah,
far fetched, exaggeration, lie, whatever.
yeah.
That wasn't even think. So I got the hitchhike with the trucker to Florida. That's what I'm saying. Like I can understand the trip to Florida. Like not that's a
You just
trip. Like it's like you went to Disney. I can understand getting to Florida. Where I'm fuzzy at is how we got from Florida to Oklahoma. And why we got from Florida to
yeah.
Oklahoma.
Look, man, this whole time she been sitting over here, she been moving. I been like, God, dog. It feel like a relief that she moved.
um, the last thing that he said that like was interesting was about Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was essentially on Epstein's list.
Well, that's another thing that came out this week.
Yeah, and nobody's talking about Epstein's list.
No, because if they do,
The website crashed
yeah,
first. Yes. The website crashed for Epstein's list, but there was a website that was able to get screenshots from the list and posted them on their website.
yeah,
Um I tried to look through it. I didn't really have the time nor the desire once I saw how they screenshot it because it wasn't like a continuous scroll through like a website would be.
yeah,
I am interested to see who's on this list. I'm also interested to see if anything will happen with any of the people that were on the list. Um it's just been a very interesting week.
yeah, yeah.
And I haven't really had the time to look at anything but Cat Williams because the memes
Oh
have been
man,
golden.
oh man,
And then everybody's think pieces,
yeah. I guess this is ours.
yeah, about what they think he's lying about versus what they think he's telling the truth about.
Now,
Um,
when he talks about the other comedians, I believe him. I think the
mm,
story is probably stretched because of how he is as a storyteller. But I core of the story, I believe him. Um, but it's a anger in there that you see.
lots of anger,
It's a
especially a lot of anger with Cedric.
yeah, because
And
we've heard the joke, we saw the joke, we know there are similarities.
mhm,
They're different jokes,
mhm,
in my opinion.
mhm.
And
I'm not hot.
it's a matter of it's a matter of we know that he got the originally got the joke from Cat Williams. The movement, the how you tell it and everything like that. But they went two different directions, I believe.
Mhm.
But he has a right to feel the way he feels about that joke because he knows where the joke came from. So uh what else? I don't know why I'd be picking this up.
I don't know. You're a weirdo. Yeah, Miss Silly, he just didn't explain anything else, and that's where my confusion lies.
Yeah.
I had questions. I wish that Shannon would ask follow-up questions. It would be nice if he had somebody on staff that was helping to feed additional questions. He had one guy that asked questions about the Cedric the Entertainer joke.
Yeah.
But I think that they were just all in there being overwhelmed.
Yeah, because he just started talking.
Yeah, they were being overwhelmed with the information and they couldn't think of follow-ups. And it's like you got to be quicker on your feet than that.
Shannon Sharp knew that what he had with this interview because the way I saw it was on Instagram, and he was like, "We gonna break the internet with this one."
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And I saw a long clip of Ricky Smile of not Kevin, but Cat Williams talking about Ricky Smile, and I was like, "Let me see what he said." You
mm-hmm.
know, overall, I think it was a great interview. I think it does great for Shannon Sharp, and that's the way I look at it. Is because Shannon Sharp went on his nightcap with Ocho Cinco and Gilbert Arenas,
Mm-hmm.
and was like, "Hey, I'm friends with a lot of these guys,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to just." And then somebody was like, "I seen somewhere where they was talking about Shannon Sharp."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, this man is doing a job. He's had all these comedians on his show. It'd be completely
Upstairs.
unfair for him.
Upstairs.
It'll be completely unfair for him not to have Cat Williams on there because Cat Williams don't like the comedians that he had on there.
Right. Um. So
So from a business
you're
standpoint,
always supposed to be unbiased as the interviewer,
right? You
right?
have to.
So there's no reason for him to go into this and provide personal anecdotes or
Yeah,
anything like that.
no.
You tell your story. However, he should have been asking follow-up
Right,
questions.
right. And that's from a journalistic
And
standpoint.
I
What you're
agree
saying.
with High Vibe. He needs some speech therapy, but he said he's had a lisp his entire
Yeah,
life. And
yeah,
I'm like, well, you got the funds to work with
yeah.
somebody a few
Right.
days a week. Get you one of these
But
speech
this
therapists that work in the school
but this
system.
this has been his bread and butter for the last 7 years.
Hmm.
Working with Skip Bayless.
Hmm.
And that's been his thing. So
Hmm.
he even though he has this lisp
Hmm.
and all this stuff, that's his
Hey,
way of
hey, hey.
doing things, right? So from a business standpoint, it's his thing. You know this is Shannon Sharp because you can if you don't hear anything, you hear that lisp.
Hmm. Well, and that's one of those things. Shannon Sharp has taught us that you don't have to have perfect speech
Right.
to get millions of views on the
Yeah.
internet.
I'm just trying to figure out like from a business standpoint, from a standpoint of we're doing the same thing that he's doing.
We're not
What?
doing the same
No,
thing.
I'm saying he has a bigger platform. He has a bigger reach than
Hmm.
we do. But it's like similarity. We're similar, right?
Okay.
We're podcasters.
Okay.
He's a podcaster overall, right?
Okay.
To simplify things, like what it like? Why did you take this interview versus not taking it? Why did you allow him to talk about your friends versus not versus stopping him? And I understand where he came from in the sense of I'm gonna just let him talk. Literally, sit
I
down.
would like you just sit down.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just
Thank
let him
you.
talk. In street culture and in regular culture, that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
You don't hang around the people, and I ain't saying they hang around each other, but you don't sit around and let people talk about your people,
Hmm.
and you don't say anything.
Well, that's the thing. Again, he is doing a job.
But also, snitches
Lily,
get
please stop.
stitches.
Lily, please stop. The fact that 21 million people watch this interview says a lot about Cat's integrity versus the other comedians. Um,
Cat was controversial.
Cat was
We
controversial,
we
and
enjoy
Cat
that.
also went. The reason this Lily get out. No. The reason that Cat could the reason that Shannon Sharp's show was the perfect place to come is because all of the people that he was quote unquote airing out,
Yeah, came on the show.
they were on there airing their grievances. So
Only
he's
one
like,
was
my
Kevin Hart.
turn now. And again, he didn't.
He didn't base everything off of Kevin. A lot
Yeah,
of a
he
lot
had a
of
vendetta against Ricky and
Cedric
Cedric
and Steve.
and Steve. But Kevin was like, let me tell you what I got to say, and then I'm gonna be done with that.
Yeah.
Earthquake. Earthquake got a backhanded compliment. He's illiterate, but he got the funniest special out of
Yeah.
everybody that I done
Look,
named.
that's 20 minutes, is what he said.
um, it was just one of those
He
things.
said stand up ain't on Tubi or Netflix.
It is on Netflix, though.
Is it?
Yeah, live from the Ville.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was wondering why he did it in Nashville, but again, he did it. It's on Netflix. And one thing that nobody's gonna be able to take away is that Cedric has had two really good TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that were his.
Yeah.
The Soul Man was funny. The Neighborhood is funny.
Yeah.
Neighborhood actually is coming back next month on your birthday.
Yeah.
But one of those things he talked about a lot was the gatekeepers in Hollywood. There are a lot of gatekeepers in Hollywood. people are able to put people on. One of the biggest examples is Tiffany Haddish. I don't find Tiffany funny
She
at
not.
all,
She not.
but she keeps getting put in front of us as if she's so funny. And then, like, we're also watching her crumble
Yep.
because of these DUIs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's, again, we could call that a plant.
Yeah.
We could call Tiffany a plant because, like, was her role in Girls Trip funny? Yes.
Yeah.
Is she a funny stand-up comic to me? No.
Absolutely not.
But that's how we treat her, or that's how she is presented.
Hey.
Lily, please stop. Go over there with him. Go over there with him. But it's a long going vendetta that he has had against Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey,
Mm.
and apparently many others as well. And that's something that he's gonna have to let go. Hopefully, after he said this, it can be settled and let go of, and we can
Yeah.
be done with it.
Yeah.
We are wildly over the time that we
We
had
are.
allotted for this, and now the second child has gotten up.
Yep. Go ahead and take us out.
So
We've enjoyed this
yeah,
conversation. We've been trying not to talk about it this whole week.
go sit down. Go.
Come sit down, Lily.
We'll see y'all next week,
Also
Saturday.
we got to right. Married at first sight. We still working on that. So
And
you know.
Tommy's been sick this week. Lily has been sick this week.
Quad was a little sick this week.
Yeah, like Tommy and Lily brought in the new year in the emergency room.
Yeah.
So it's been a week.
Yeah.
We'll get to Married at First Sight when we get to it, but we gonna get to it.
Yeah. We're gonna get to it. Continue to support us, continue to join our conversations with the Love Brew and everything like that. Yeah. That's all I got, man.
All right, y'all. Children, say bye-bye.
All
Okay.
right, y'all. We love you guys. Thank you guys. And we are out. Peace.
Bye, y'all.